Vegan Hooper here. I hope you're having a beautiful summer day. The last tutorial I believe that I made was for a pendulum versus a smear. If you haven't seen that, I will post it in the description box below. It's definitely worth a look at because it is just a beautiful move in itself. But today I want to teach you that same move, but with both hoops in one hand. It will open up a window of opportunities, especially if you are into two-hoop one-hand moves. So with no further ado, if you want to learn a two-hoop one-hand move and you have a set of twin hoops, then let's jump right in. Alright guys, real quick I want to go over the tutorial that is linked in the description box below. The pendulum versus the smear. The smear has an inside grip, folds to its native side to do the smear. My other hoop has an outside grip and is doing a pendulum. And together my wrists are close the whole entire time. It makes this beautiful move, which is two separate moves, a pendulum and a smear. Today I'm going to teach you the same exact move, except we will be in the OCHO grip. So if you do not know how to open up into the OCHO grip, or you don't know any of these beginner moves, I do have a tutorial that I will link in the description box below. You definitely will need to know how to do that before getting into this move. Alright guys, let's start by getting into the OCHO grip. When we are there, I want you to practice loosening and tightening your grip, the hoops that are in your palm, okay? And seeing how it feels to loosen them and then tightening them up again while trying to keep them looking pretty, okay? Now for most of OCHO grip tricks, you want a tight grip the whole time, because without the tight grip, the hoops go off plain. So for the most part, you want a tight grip. But for this trick, we're going to mess around with a loose and a tight grip. When you've messed with this, and you've had enough, then practice isolating the bottom of one hoop. So the hoop that is closest to my fingers and closest to you will be the hoop that is framing my face and being isolated. The hoop that is in my thumb and is closest to me is the hoop that'll be tracing the isolated hoop, okay? So start with your arm stretched out across with the hoop furthest away from you, isolating your face, okay? And then practice dragging the hoop down and back, trying to keep the hoop that is framing you isolated or still. Okay? Once you practice those two moves, then we can really get into this move. So to begin, we'll have, like I said, our arms stretched out across with the hoop furthest away from me, isolating my, framing my face. With the other hoop, we are going to begin this move by doing the bottom of the isolations. When we get to the other side and our thumb is basically pointed down, we are going to loosen our grip and see what happens. Usually what happens for me is the hoop that is furthest away begins to touch my shoulder, okay? So this, I am doing this move with my right hand. When I loosen the grip, the front hoop touches my left shoulder. So tight grip, do the bottom part of the isolation, loosen the grip, and the hoop that is furthest away will begin to fold and touch my shoulder or my arm or wherever, depending on the size of your hoops. Now from here, we're going to keep a loose grip because we want to complete the top of a pendulum. So our outside hoop will have, our outside gripped hoop will do the top of the pendulum. So it'll move from its native side to its opposite side, and then we will be back to start to trace the bottom of the isolated hoop, loosen our grip to do it again, okay? So we are in ocho grip, we do half of an isolation, we loosen our grip, and our hoop folds, our hoop furthest away from us folds. Then we're going to concentrate on our other hoop now. We want it to complete the top of the pendulum like I just mentioned. So keeping a loose grip and trying to complete that top of the pendulum, you'll notice when you concentrate on this hoop, the other hoop does a smear just by mistake. It might not be the cleanest smear at first, but that's what practicing and drilling is for. So now we are back at start and we have a tight grip. We are going to do the bottom of an isolation. We still have a tight grip. We are going to loosen our grip. The hoop that is furthest away will fold to our opposite shoulder. We're going to keep a looser grip while we focus on our hoop that's closest to us to do the top of a pendulum. When we get to about here, what we're going to do when our top of our pendulum is on the opposite side is we're going to tighten our grip, and what that does is finish the smear for us, and now we are back to start. So that's why I wanted you to practice tightening and loosening your grip while you are in the ocho grip, okay? So tight grip, trace the isolation, tight grip, loosen the grip till the hoop touches your shoulder. Concentrate on the top now with a loose grip, the top of the pendulum until it reaches the opposite side. Tighten your grip and you are back to start to do it again. How cool is that? Now, with the smear, you know me if you've been watching my tutorials. The smear has to have contact with my back the whole time. I feel it touching me. That's how I know that it is a clean smear, okay? There's no difference with the hoop, two hoops in one hand. I want that smear to touch my back the whole time just as well. Now, it may take practice. You might not get the hoop touching you the first, second, third, or even 10th time, but with a little bit of practice of the loosening of the grip and the tightening of the grip, you will notice that the smear is actually doing a smear. So it is making contact with my back the whole time and then coming in front of me to do an isolation just like a regular smear. And the other hoop is doing an actual pendulum. How neat is that? Now I want to show you what it looks like from the back, two hoops, one hand, just so I can't say it enough that it actually is touching my back. So it is making contact with my back until it comes in front and I tighten my grip again. Okay? So let's start this one more time. Get into the ocho grip. Okay? Have your arms stretched out across. The hoop furthest away from my body is framing my head. The other hoop is closest to me. It'll be the tracer hoop. So we have a tight grip while we do the bottom of an isolation until we get to the opposite side. We loosen our grip until the hoop that is furthest from our body folds to our shoulder or wherever and actually touches me. I will concentrate now on the hoop that is closest to me and make sure that it is doing the top of a pendulum, still with a loose grip. When my smear is complete, I tighten my grip again to do it again. Now, the only troubleshooting with this, besides the smear not making contact with my back the whole time, which takes practice, would be my pendulum hoop, okay? We wanted to actually do a nice clean pendulum at the top, okay? So what you're really doing in the ocho grip is the hoop is in your thumb, okay? So make sure that your thumb, if you cannot get the top of the pendulum nice and clean, that you are realizing that your thumb fold. So this is the hoop. It is actually right here. It's not even in your thumb, it more as it's in that crease at the very bottom of your pointer finger and thumb, okay? So even though we have a loose grip, so our thumb isn't around the hoop, it's more like loose, I still am controlling the top of the pendulum with what my arm and hand is doing. So keep concentration on your hand / thumb if you cannot actually make the hoop go from your native side to your non-native side to actually get the top of the pendulum. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. This is definitely proof that drilling means something in your craft, because you have no idea how many times I have done the Ocho grip and the same moves over and over again. But just by messing with a loose then tight grip, I came across a move that I just made a tutorial for the week before, except both hoops are in one hand. And that opens up a huge window if you want to get into 3 or 4 hoops, okay? So I'm pretty stoked about that. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment box below. I give Skype lessons. If you want to learn clean, quirky twin tech, or you just want to get one move down that you haven't been able to nail, then DM me on Instagram. My name is Miss Maynard Keenan, or leave a comment below. $20 for an hour of fun. Also follow me on Instagram, Miss Maynard Keenan, like I mentioned before. If you need a new set of hoops or lots of hoops, check out my sponsor, Festival Treasures Etsy shop. They make beautiful hoops and other goods, and they definitely have a lot of variety right now. They just came with HDPE and different color morphing hoops, so check them out. And yeah, guys, I hope that you enjoy this and you have a beautiful day. I love ya. God bless. Happy hooping. Mwah.